The objection against religion. Oh, it brings restriction in life. Do this, don't do this. But when we look at it, all restrictions are not bad. If somebody is suffering from diabetes, if doctor says don't have sugar, he will not have sugar because he knows that restriction. We know that if we have food and drink in excess, we'll become ill. We'll have extra cholesterol, we'll have wrong type of food that we may have. All those restrictions we accept for the sake of health. When it comes to the sake of the body, the soul, we find, oh, it's a restriction. So all restrictions are not bad. You can't discount just Islam or religion because of restrictions. Secondly, man is a social animal. We have been created so that we may live and be with each other. We have to be with each other. We cannot live alone. And we, as a result, have to have mutual rights and respects. When we live with neighbors, we're going to find out, what is the neighbor doing? Am I hurting that neighbor's rights? Am I encroaching on his rights? But if we were living alone in a jungle or in a remote place where there's nobody, I always give my younger brother example. That for example, in a city long way back here, where there was nobody here in Edmonton, maybe many hundred years ago, if there's a person living alone and he had a vehicle, he doesn't have to follow any traffic signs, any traffic lights. He doesn't have to stop when there is red because there's no other vehicle to think about. But we as human beings live amongst each other. We have to have rights. We have to understand that there are needs for rights and laws that will govern us so that human society can exist peacefully. Then those who oppose religion say, okay, we agree. We need rules. Without rules, we cannot live. So let the parliament, let the king make the rules. The king makes a rule. If there is a kingdom or there's a royal king ruling a country, he will only make the rules what he understands, which is limited. He'll have bias. He will think this is right because some of his own ones think that that is right. So all rules will have bias. Even democracy, which is election by people. But haven't you heard about pressure groups? There are, for example, the biggest reason that till today, number of countries still openly advertised cigarettes and tobacco. Why? Because on one side, there is harm of cigarettes. On the other side, the American Tobacco Company or whatever have MPs who are on there, member of parliament who are under their influence, and they are sponsored by them, and they will always promote their aspect. So, in every way, whether there's a pollution lobby, there are economists, there are people who are running big factories, they will always say, our economy will suffer. The Senate or the House of Parliaments or House that conducts and carries out the laws should not pass these laws. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is most just. He has no interest. He has no bias. He will pass the laws that are perfect for mankind. He will pass the laws that are indeed the right laws. They are the just laws. The laws He has made us. He loves us more than our parents. He created the love in our parents. And when He passes the laws, those laws will have the most just laws in Islam. This is why Mawlaya Kainat, Ali ibn Abi Talib, salawatullahi alayhi, says, have you realized, in Nahjul Balagha he says, have you realized what Islam is? It is indeed religion founded on truth. It is such a fountainhead of learning that several streams of wisdom and knowledge flow from it. It is such a lamp that several lamps are lighted from it. It is a lofty beacon of light illuminating the path of Allah. It is such set of principles and beliefs that it will satisfy every seeker of truth. And those who connected with Mawla, even those who connected with Mawla, understood the true meaning of Islam. The fact that the deen of Islam says, Min al-ayn, Where have you come? Ila ain. Where are you going? Li ain. What is the purpose of your life? Why are you here? Let us ponder. Because the Holy Prophet, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu says, Al-fikratu sa'ati khayrun min ibadati salati. A moment's thinking, pondering, is better than lifetime's ibadat. If you can think correctly. That's what happened to Hur. At the right stage he thought. He connected with Allah. So we have to say, Min al-ayn, where are we coming from? And even those who connected with Ahlul Bayt. We find Bahlul connected with Ahlul Bayt. How beautifully. I gave you the other example 2 days back about Bahlul. And today I want to give you another example. Bahlul was asked, "Oh Bahlul, why do you keep on going to the graveyard? Why are you always coming out from the graveyard? What makes you go there?" And Bahlul replied, he said, "I go there, there is a great big caravan of people there in that graveyard, and they are waiting." So somebody asked Bahlul, "Bahlul, what did you talk to them? What did they say to you?" He said, I asked them the question. Why are you waiting here in the graveyard? Why are you still here in your graves? And they replied back to me. They said, "Bahlul, we are waiting here for our eventual final journey, but we are waiting for you to join us. One of these days you will be with us here as well." So it's an example that we all have to go towards this situation. Today, there are one or two points that I want to quickly cover before moving to Urdu Majlis. You see, the institution of Azadari, I covered before, through Sahih Bukhari, how the Holy Prophet was the first Azadar, when Jibreel was the first Razahusein. And we need to understand, our youths need to understand what is the importance of Azadari. This is the institution that keeps us alive, our faith alive. And there are a number of questions which they are legitimate, they should ask, and they do ask. For example, why? What is the necessity of crying? And how can we say that what we do is okay? Allama Ali Naki, he in his book Tafsir Namuna reminds us, he says, don't you remember the event of Hazrat Yusuf and Hazrat Yaqub? Hazrat Yaqub was told that Yusuf is not in front of you, but he's alive. He was taken in the grave. He was in the well and he was saved. Allah informed Yaqub that Yusuf is alive. But just from the firaq, from the distance of Yusuf that Yaqub could not bear, he cried and cried till he lost his eyesight. This is what Quran narrates. How much love Yaqub had to Yusuf. In Karbala there were 18 Yusufs. How can we not cry? How can we not cry? There were Yusufs and Yusufs like Ali Akbar and Abbas. This crime is thought not appropriate by our youth. Quran mentions this crime. And in nowhere Quran mentions it in a very positive manner, as if this was a good action. And look at the love of Yaqub. When Yusuf is found and his brothers bring kameez, his shirt, back to Yaqub, Yaqub puts it in his eyes and all those 80 years of blindness goes away. This is in Tafsir Namuna. His blindness goes away, his eyesight come back, just with the smell of the shirt of Yusuf. And we are told that why we have alam, we have to understand, our youth have to understand how Quran has guided. We have heard that when Hazrat Hamza was martyred, how Azadari was established by the Holy Prophet. He asked the women of Ansar to join us in expression. I haven't long time to discuss this issue. I just want to touch upon important issues. Our marja, and one of the marjas of the time, Ayatollah Fazl Karani, was asked specific questions about Azadari. And he was asked that, what is your view about Sinazani and Matam that we do here? And Ayatollah Fazl Karani said, this is in izhar muhim, yani this is an essential demonstration of your love for Ahlul Bayt. This is the status of Matam. Let's not be ashamed to do. And Ayatollah Khomeini was asked, and he said, this Matam that you're doing, it is as if you are stepping on the chest of the kufr. You know, when this pageant goes by, you know, in the military, you see, in Canada we have our maple leaf flag, and the military would march past with their march past. Nobody will tell them that you're doing something wrong. They are march past it. For us, this Ya Hussein is our demonstration. And our maple leaf flag is not the maple leaf flag. People in Canada certainly can be proud of the country and have, but for us also Shia, we have another flag, which is the alam of Abul Fazl Abbas. We should be proud to carry that alam. That is our sign of Abul Fazl Abbas. And then most Mu'mineen Hariya learn it. The marja was asked wearing black clothes while praying salah. As you know, that number of marjas have made makruh to pray with the black clothes. But in event of Azadari Hussein, or with the gham of Hussein in your heart, he says, his actual word is that it is better to wear black clothes in Azah and pray namaz with it. Because normally, in normal situation, you can wear your white cloth, which is recommended sunnah. But for Azah and Hussein, it is better to wear black cloth, to show your izhar on the gham of Hussein. Then we say about alam. I told you about the maple leaf. In Quran, there is when the event of Hajj is narrated and how Hajra. You see, you got to understand that Hajra had Hazrat Ismail, a little baby with her, and she did Safa and Marwa up and down. Till today, Allah has established Sunnah of the Safa and Marwa, and says, these are Sha'irullah. There was one Ismail, he was not slaughtered by an arrow. He was just there thirsty, and it became Sha'irullah. We have 18 Bani Hashim martyred in Karbala. Allah. How can that not become Sha'irullah? This alam that we have, we see the connection that we have. These are all Sha'irullahs. We have to understand that they help us to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, our marja are very clear that there are some instances like Kumazani. People take sword and hit their head. At present, the marja say that it should not be done because it does not enhance the azadari or the message of Imam Hussein. Anything that does not enhance the message. Even in the past era, I remember Ayatollah Burujaddi, when there was an institution where they used to take shabi of Janab Zainab. Lady was to make shabi. And then it was said, this is misleading, do not carry those institutions. But the azma of Azai Hussein is so great. And Azadari, oh Azadar, your martaba, your status is so great. Inshallah, one of these days I'll give you the hadith of the status of Azadari. But there was a great marja, Ayatollah Hussein Muzahiri. It is narrated that this Ayatollah, when he was reaching 60 or 70, he suddenly started losing his eyesight. He couldn't see. And he was, they were looking at, he had great difficulty in reading his books. And he prayed a lot to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then one day, as he was in his prayers, there was a procession, a julus of Mu'mineen Azadar walking, saying, Ya Hussein, outside his house. Ayatollah Mazahiri went out and heard the julus. And then as the people passed away, he took a dust from where the Azadaran had walked and put it on his eyes. Put it on his eyes. It is narrated that Ayatollah Hussein Muzahiri never needed spectacles after that. It was the Aqidah in his heart. He never needed specs. No operations after that, because his eyesight came back. Why would it come back? We heard how Yaqub's eyesight came back from just putting the shirt of Yusuf. This is the love of Ahlul Bayt that was being expressed. So Azadari has great impact, and inshallah our youngsters will understand the importance of Azadari. Today I want to move to Masaib now. For English, brief Masaib before